Hey y'all, thanks for checking this out. Gardening best practices. I'm calling this part 3. We're going to talk about wilting. This is really fast, super simple to do. Anybody can do it. So what's in this video? We're going to talk about how to wilt. Like I said, anyone can do it. Very straightforward if you don't know. We're also going to talk about when and where to wilt, sort of the timing around it and where you may want to do it. We're also going to talk about what to wilt. I'm just going to give you some suggestions. Now, you may want to go and check out the Wizard 101 wiki. Think about the plants that you have and go ahead and check those out and find out what they drop at mature, because the entire crux of this process is to keep the bed of seeds, no matter how many you have, in a perpetual mature state. So in other words, we're never going to let them go elder. Never going to let them go to elder. So you want to find out what they're dropping at mature. And I'll show you some examples. You'll kind of get it after that, but it's a really straightforward thing. So essentially step one, you're going to visit your zone, your grow zone where you're keeping these seeds. And you're going to check their needs, and you'll notice that green progress to elder bar. That if that is about 1/2 to 3/4 of the way complete, so in other words to the right, it's time to wilt them. And what you're simply going to do is you're going to abandon them, you're going to turn your back on them, and you're going to leave the zone. You're going to leave the zone. You're not going to give them any water, any pollen, any music, any of that. And you're going to return 24 hours later, and you'll notice the plants are wilting button has lit up red. And you'll notice that they have needs. Now is the time when they are wilted um, to service their needs. And you'll notice in this video, she's using the 48-hour versions of the gardening spells. That's fine to do when you're actually bringing them out of the wilted stage, but don't do it after that. You run the risk of actually satiating their needs, for lack of a better word, and you run the risk of that progress bar going all the way to elder, and then the plants will elder, and it kind of ruins the project. It really does, especially if there's seeds that you've gone and farmed for. So I should also point out that this does not take them clearly back to the mature stage. Takes them to the young stage, so they're not a seed anymore, but they're between the seed and mature stage. So you'll have to wait them out a little bit before you can harvest them, continue to tend them as you would under any other circumstances. So some notes on wilting. There are modifiers, as many of you probably know. There's likes and dislikes, and there are various amounts of things that provide those. But you'll notice in that last video, she was growing those seeds in the Ever After Village, which does provide a plus 15% modifier. Now, she did have a dislike. She did have a stinkweed on top of them. So it does sort of cancel that out. It's another thing you may want to look at the wiki. And I think if you're going to do this, it's probably best to not do it in the Red Barn Farm, the Botanical Gardens, or the Ever After Village. A better way to go is to use a house that does not give any likes. In this case, she's using the Avalon Castle plot. Now, I recommend the Myth House over the Avalon Castle plot. A, the Castle plot's crown, and B, the Myth House is gold. But also, the Avalon Castle plot has some different game physics because it's set up to actually build a castle out of castle blocks. So, it's a little janky when it comes to like planting plots and doing the pot pulling method that she's done here. But you'll notice that these red huckleberries have likes and a dislike of stinkweed. Now that pixie like, if they attract pixies, there really isn't anything you can do about it. But this is a better setup, I think. Use a house that doesn't facilitate the plus 15, and you'll get a few more harvests out of it, maybe one or two, something like that. So it does stretch out the time frame that you can actually pull this off, and it's sort of a hedge to keep them from going to elder, because that's the thing we want to avoid. So what to wilt? These are some suggestions. Red huckleberries. They're going to yield pinks at mature, key limes at mature, as well as blue huckleberries. And out of this trio, the pinks are probably the most favorite amongst people for wilting. And I'll show you in just a moment. But if you have the reds, you can get the pinks and the blues, and you can plant those and let them go to elder. So the blues really aren't dropping anything that you can't get in the bazaar or from one of the gardening moles. The pinks, they do drop some things that make them a good target for wilting. But the blues, I should add, out of this trio, and this has been my experience, actually drop the ultra huckleberry more readily than the other two, the red or the pink. So there is that, and the key limes if you want them, you know, for the shock keys or whatever. But key limes begat key limes, so they do drop from themselves, and really soon you'll have more key limes than you want, and you'll be either quick selling them or feeding them to your pad or whatever. So the pinks, probably one of the more famous ones. They're dropping the deadly Halifaneers, and they do drop them at mature. Now they do not drop them as readily at mature as they do at elder. So again, back to the red hucks, you could use that methodology and plant the pinks, and you'll get, some deadly Halifaneers. But when they do go to elder, you're going to get a lot more, and you can kind of use that and just keep cycling it on and on and on until you get enough deadly Halifaneers. I should also mention that they drop the crown seed ninja fig if you want those, but ninja figs are very much like key limes in that ninja figs begat ninja figs, and pretty soon you got so many ninja figs that you know that you literally have got us to quick sell them or trash them or whatever, because they're a crown seed. You can't sell them in the bazaar. I will say, if you're going to go down the huckleberries route, you may want to expand your backpack and or your bank, because these things literally rain seeds. All three of them just do nothing but seed after seed after seed. Even in the mature state, a lot of times you're getting 3 or 4 seeds, and administratively, it's a lot to do. So keep that in mind if you go down the huckleberry road. Probably the most famous one is the Ultra King Parsley, and the way this works is that you take king parsley, you're going to plant those, and those, like key limes and ninja figs, drop themselves. So you're going to keep harvesting those and replanting those and letting them go to elder, the king parsley, in perpetuity, and you'll get ultra king parsleys. And when you have enough of those, I don't know what the actual watermark is for that, or the hallmark, or whatever we want to call it, the high watermark. But when you have enough of those, you're going to plant those, and then as you harvest those in their mature phase, they're going to drop amber. And if you go onto YouTube and type in Wizard 101 Max Amber, there's a lot of good videos on how to do this. It's been around for a long, long time, like years and years and years. But it is a good method to stock up on your amber supply. And in addition, the Ultra King parsleys drop themselves at mature, so you're then sort of back in the ninja fig slash key lime boat, where if you do this, you're going to actually start trashing some of these seeds because it's just too many to administratively deal with. One that I've done, and still, I actually like to do this. I don't know why it's so. It's kind of labor intensive, and it's a real energy pig. But the ultra tiger lilies, so you start off with standard run-of-the-mill tiger lilies that you can buy in the bazaar. You're going to plant, run those through to elder, keep harvesting them. When you get enough ultra tigers, you're going to plant those, and then those are going to drop the Maltese tiger lily as well as the white tiger lily. And those give some good reagents. Agave nectar is one, and they also give level 9 snacks. So I believe the Maltese drops the Captain Cantaloupe, and the white tiger lily drops fancy yogurt. Now, I wouldn't recommend this as a way to get level 9 snacks. Certainly, couch potatoes are far easier, because these are very energy intensive to care for. They have a lot of needs, and the pest spell itself is the fly swatter spell, so you're spending just 30 energy whacking the bugs off of these. So it's not really something that I would recommend you do when you're sort of starting out. But, it's an option, and it is a a great way to stock up on agave nectar and diamond and a few other things. I should also mention this. This is a bed that I have going now, and it is a bed of ultra snow apples, and I have been continuously wilting and harvesting these at the mature stage because they drop their constituent seeds. Now, I don't have enough of them to finish out a 69 plot bed to do a harvest video, so they're going to drop snow apples, green snow apples, as well as purple snow apples. And I collect those till I have enough, and then I plant, and then I harvest those in hopes of getting additional ultras to fill in this bed and sort of complete this project. So there is that option. You can use it with a lot of the ultras. They do drop their constituent, and if you want to build up the ultras, that's certainly a way to go. And finally, something like honeybee that drops itself at mature. I mean, this is a plant that you do not get your seed back at ultra. So if you wanted to basically keep doing these and using the wilt and revive method on these, they do drop themselves. Not every time, but you do get quite a few. And essentially build up an additional inventory that then you can utilize. I'm not necessarily recommending these. They are sort of a beginner seed, but they do drop nightshade. So there is some use to them, I guess, but probably not the coolest seed out there to do. Nonetheless, they also drop Grapes of Wrath, which is a crown seed if you want that. So there is that option. Well, with that said, I think we're done. I think you kind of get the get the gist of it. By all means, check out the wiki. Take a look at the seeds that you're thinking of. See what it is they drop at mature, see if it's worthwhile, and apply this method to it. It works for every single type of seed in the game. Not to say that there's a reason to do every seed in the game. I can't think of any reason to wilt and revive couch potatoes or evil magma peas, but who knows? I don't know. Maybe there's somebody doing it for some reason. So I hope this helps you in your endeavors, and want to say thanks, and please, give us a thumbs up, give us a, subscribe, shoot us a like, whatever you want to call it, and subscribe if you want, and we'll try to keep cranking out this content. Either way, enjoy.